When you talk about, your work and, you working as, an elite manager managing restaurants, ultimately, what's the commonality between this and developments? You are making money for someone else, but in developments, you're making a lot more money for yourself as well together, rather than just the $60,000 that you're making for yourself. And you are, ultimately making money for
Well,
yourself.
absolutely. You're there driving costs down, managing staff, and you're putting all this money in the pockets of huge corporations. And then one of my dreams as a kid, though, Moxon, was to be a firefighter, and I basically abandoned that dream. People told me I wasn't big enough. It'll be too long a wait, and I was really like, I just want to get out in the world and make money. And I abandoned my dream. And it's probably one of my only life's regrets, and I've given some thought to going back to, trying out and going through the academy. But probably it's like, and I'm almost 50. So
can I say you're still putting out
well,
fires?
exactly. Yeah. I'm still putting out fires, and I'm still helping people, just in a different way. I'm not rescuing them from a building, but I'm helping them to build their wealth. So there's still that genuine helping nature there, which is part of my value system. So,
yeah.
But following the restaurant side of things in management, I really got a taste for, business. And, university was a snore, a complete bore, like the technical side of things. Like, I just want to be in it. And from there, the reason I ended up in Australia is because I was so disillusioned with the restaurant side after I thought, my goal was to be a bar owner and to have a big business and a staff. But after running a large chain restaurant for 3 years and watching staff break plates and throw cutlery out and wreck our building, and it's like you just get a flavor to understand that people don't care about your business, and it wasn't even mine, right? It's like, so you need to be able to have a business where you can have people you want to work with and that care as much about the business as you do. So then I got into large corporate, setting in a Fortune 500 company, managing large capital projects like $50 million portfolios. And the managing director of the Australian operations was amazing. He walked me through all the P&L, how the business is managed, so I could really see what my contributions and revenue was bringing in and where that money was going and how it was utilized and the value that it brought. So again, that really showed me, from a management side of things, from a project management side of things, how my processes are helping drive business and grow business. And so again, it was a step up, in the whole businessology of everything, right? So ultimately, I always had a huge attraction to property. So the way I got started was I became a bit disillusioned in the corporate side of things. So obviously everyone, has their famous side hustle, so I bought an infill lot. I built from a land sub developer who put in the roads and the civils, and I got an architect and built a custom house. And I think the thing cost at the time, 260 grand all up TDC, and we sold it for 380, like 5 hours onto the market kind of thing. So it was a pretty good result. And so then I replicated that one more time. And
this was in Australia?
No, that was back in Canada. Back in Canada.
Canada, okay, yeah.
So, and then after that, I thought, I'm going to try something a little different. And I wanted something a shorter duration. So I got a renovation property that was a quick 3-month flip. It ended up at about 4.5, I think. So slightly over time, but absolute nightmare. I'll never do it again. I did it all by myself. I had a general contractor who was a buddy helping me, and we did all the painting of the walls ourselves. And I could have had a painter do the whole house in probably a day and a half, and it took us 4 weeks to paint the whole inside of the house because we just had no idea what we were doing, right? So,
and I think it's important. Let's take a pause there. I think a lot of people who do renovations and, start off, I've done a few renovation projects of my own, actually more than a few. And I was having this discussion with a client of mine, or actually not a client, a friend of mine actually over the last weekend, where we were talking about renovation. And I told them that it's about the the value that you put in for your time. A lot of renovators never allow for their time in the projects. And so while they might be making money,
No.
they might be earning like $5 an hour because the amount of hours that they put in into some of these projects is magnanimous. It's like ginormous, right? So it's important to understand where that highest value is. I use a typical example in some of these scenarios. I have a really good friend of mine who runs a mowing business. And so I have a small front yard. The front yard and the backyard all has fake grass, and there is a small nature strip where there is grass. And so he will come out every month and mow that nature strip for me. And he would curse me every time he comes in because he can see that I have an electric mower that sits in the backyard, which is brand new, unpacked, and it sits there. And be like, you are a lazy freaking bum. You can't just get up and just do the mow. And I was like, buddy, how much do you charge me an hour? And he's like, $40 to $50. And it's like, do you know how much I can make in an hour if I'm working on a development or if I'm working with a client? So I value my time to that extent. I can, and this is not me boasting about it. This is not me ego testing about it. This is me realizing that there is a bigger mindset shift that needs to happen when you are going into a higher value business, right?
Yeah, exactly. Why do you think our consultants in development charge $250 an hour? I mean, yes, they're educated engineers or architects or things like that, but like we have just as much education, Moxon, in the whole project cycle, not just the one little bit of it. But you're 100% right. Like I made a huge mistake there as well. I didn't value my time. I just said, well, it's only going to cost this much. And at the end of the day, it turned out to be an amazing success as far as financial numbers was concerned. But what a nightmare, right? Like, you go into the project and you think, oh, I've never done this before, but I'm going to put together a budget. And I didn't even know if it was right. So you're going back and forth. Here we have Bunnings. There it's called Home Depot. And it's like you get the materials for the job you're going to do that day. And then all of a sudden you rip out the vanity. It's like, oh, I got to replace the plumbing. Oh, I got to put a door in here. I got to do this or that. And all these cabinets we were going to paint look like, crap. And I gotta rip out the whole kitchen now. And it's like, so my advice to renovators is, look, it can be, there's beautiful positives to it. If you can flip it out in 3 months, you're getting a huge return in a very short amount of time. But it's a lot of work, a lot of stress, a lot of hassle. And I just prefer knocking down and starting from scratch with bigger returns.